The Triple M Grill Team.
Turn Gus, MG and Matty on 6 till 9 weekdays.
Now, fellas, as far as ridiculous stories go, this is one of the biggest ones going around at the moment. The federal government has attempted to distance former Test cricketers Glenn McGrath and Brett Lee from the furor over its decision to transfer Tamil asylum seekers to India.
What?
Yes.
What has McGrath and Lee
have
got to do with that?
Yeah, well, wait. The pair were forced to defend themselves from a barrage of hate-filled Twitter posts after two cricket bats they signed were gifted to the Indian government when the nation agreed to process the boat people who had attempted to sail to Australia. So what had happened, basically, is that they'd signed a couple of cricket bats whenever. You know, look, at the most they would have known about it was that, oh, look, the Immigration Minister, Scott Morrison's people just said could just sign a couple of cricket bats. They're going off to India to do a bit of business and think it'd be a nice gesture. What would you say if you were...
No problem at all. Happy to do it. Especially those two blokes who are probably the most generous, charitable cricketers going around.
And they've done that. They went over to the Indian Prime Minister and they gave him the cricket bats by Glenn McGrath and Brett Lee, and what people have done, the lefties have said, well, okay, well, that obviously means that Glenn McGrath and Brett Lee hate asylum seekers. And they've got absolutely no... It's a fair stretch. Do you really think that Scott Morrison would have walked up to Brett Lee and Glenn McGrath and said to them, listen, fellas, I'd just like you to sign a couple of cricket bats. Now, what this is for, I'm just trying to smooth through an asylum seeker deal so that, you know, we can, once we process them, we can send these Tamil refugees and asylum seekers to India. Can you do that? Do you think that he would really bother them with that sort of information?
As you were saying that, it's just ridiculous. You know, I started smiling, know exactly where you're going with it. I mean, these cricketers and sportsmen in general are brilliant with charities most of the time, and they're always signing stuff. And especially I know how big Brett Lee is in India, and Glenn McGrath the same. So they would have signed it, like you say, some time ago, not knowing exactly what it was for, but at the end of the day, doing what they thought was the right thing. To now for them to have to put up with people giving them abusive Twitter, crap is just ridiculous. These keyboard ninjas again trying to, unsettle good people doing the right thing.
And the only thing that Brett Lee and Glenn McGrath have done wrong is actually come out yesterday and defend themselves and come out and say...
You don't think they should have?
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't have had to.
It's so pathetic.
They came out and said, "Hey guys, we've got all the compassion in the world for humanity and people who are seeking asylum from these countries." And I would have said, "Fellas, please, you don't need to. Don't justify it to these imbeciles."
The Grill Team, Gus, MG, and Matty Johns. Triple M Breakfast.